the usual hands up system. So I'm going to shift and I'm going to let Gravesy kick off.
Cheers, Kev. Morning, Chris. Good to see you. It's been a busy week, hasn't it?
Yeah, I said it was going to be, didn't we? So delighted. I think pound for pound, when we get the window shut and we get obviously the players that we have in place, I'll be delighted. I think it's so far been a really good one. We've had to be patient in this window, but delighted to get the players that we have done this week over the line. And as I said, hopefully there's another one to complete the set. Hopefully that'll be sooner than later. But if we have to wait a little bit for that one, I'm sure the wait will be worth it.
When we spoke on Friday, you said the primary objective was to get competition for places all over the field. In the 4 players you brought in, do you feel you've gone a long way to achieving that?
Absolutely. The 2 young boys from Derby have been outstanding. Everybody been so impressed with them so far coming into the building. They're not here to make the numbers up. The 2 young players that hopefully are going to be with us for a number of years, but the immediate challenge for them is to get into the team. And speaking to them, they want to get into the team as early as possible, and I want them to have that attitude as well. And they fit all the attributes that they have all the attributes that we're looking for. Athletic, modern day wing backs, and just meeting up with them, their personalities. They want to play in the Premier League as soon as possible, and that's how it's got to be. And I said afterwards, after the game on Friday, it's game on. It took a long time coming. It has been, sort of a crazy few weeks, not just for us, but for everybody in how this pre-season has sort of panned out with international breaks, with obviously the quick turnaround. It's been not the normal, but we've had to adjust to it. But certainly the 2 players from Derby, Ethan coming into the group, I think we've signed one of the outstanding English young players at the moment. So highly regarded by Chelsea, and for us to capture that one, and for Ethan to be a Sheffield United player this year, I think shows how far we've come as well. That Chelsea are trusting us with one of their bright young stars, and I'm sure he'll go on to have a fabulous career at Chelsea. But his focus now is to have a really good year at Sheffield United, and. From Ollie Burke's point of view, this is one, I've heard a few bits and pieces regarding, Ollie and the Callum sort of swap. We went into the Premier League eyes wide open, and on reflection, Callum did well for us in the first part of the season. But, we felt, on reflection of what we needed in the second part of the second season in the Premier League, is somebody with raw pace and not somebody that's all-round game is good, which Callum's all-round game is good, but really to complement the players that we've got, to complement Billy Sharp, David McGoldrick, Lys Mousset, Ollie McBurney. We needed some big pace at the top of the pitch, and Ollie certainly gives us that. He's a player that has played it out on the wides, for Forest, where he made his name, obviously going to Leipzig, coming back to West Brom. But, he's not played a lot of football in England down the middle, and he'll certainly play in our system down the middle. And one of the things that I was looking for in our recruitment is somebody with pace and power. So Ollie gives us those qualities. And the overall one was the age of the players that we were bringing in and what they give to the group in terms of the enthusiasm, their competitiveness, and their desire to play Premier League football. And all 4 of the boys, have got that attitude within themselves.
You also said of the 5 you wanted 2 forwards. Obviously, Ollie Burke covers one of those positions. Is it fairly safe to assume then that the one outstanding player you're still chasing is in that position?
Tell you what, Gravesy, that school that you went to is not bad, is it?
Learn many things, Chris. Learn many things. Not many of them useful.
Wanted a forward, want another one. That adds up to 2.
Would it be a permanent move or going into the loan market there?
It must probably be a low market, but one that we're speaking to at the moment. But there's players on that list, whether the loan and permanent, and like everybody, there's a pecking order on that one. But we're confident that we can get the one that we want, and if not, we're confident that there'll be other players that will find Sheffield United an attractive proposition, and they'll be within our budget that we've had and the owners have given. I think, as always, said about getting the maximum out of our budget this window, and we've certainly done that. And obviously, the biggest one that we've signed so far in this window, which is obviously early on, has possibly been forgotten about, which shouldn't be really. Which obviously we feel we've signed one of the outstanding young English goalkeepers of this period in Aaron Ramsdale as well. So, as you said, you look at all the players that we've signed; they all fit the bill in terms of hungry young players that want to do well in the Premier League.
On this last sign, then, are you just dependent on waiting for dominoes to fall elsewhere?
Yeah, it is. It is the case, Rich, on that one. But yeah, as we've always talked, until you get them over the line, until they've got, as we've talked about, a shirt on the back, and it's been signed and agreed and finalised and registered. We're still working on it, and that's the only time where really, from our point of view, we can in a way take a breath and relax a touch, because it is really important, and we have to be good at this part of the business in terms of recruiting, because we can't overpay. You see the numbers that some clubs are paying, and that's their business and what they need to do, but we certainly can't just overpay to get players through the door, and we have to be sensible and realistic in terms of the targets that we're going for, and again, I believe we've done that.
Let's focus on the on-field stuff then, because it's Wolves this weekend, or on Monday. You've had some good games against them in recent years. I guess it's nice to be concentrating actually on playing football, isn't it?
Yeah, definitely. As I said, it's usually the pre-season lasts, 40, 41, 42 days, and there's a gradual build-up, 45 minutes, 60 minutes, 75 minutes, games, sort of 6 to 7 games. It's not been the case this year. It's not been the case for Wolves as well. Obviously, when their season finished, fabulous season yet again from Nuno and his players. Europa League quarterfinals, and no shame in going out to the eventual winners as well. So they had a fabulous season in terms of where they finished in the league and their achievements in Europe. So another huge challenge for us on a lot of fronts. We've got a couple of players that are touch and go for the game. Obviously, as I said, it's not been straightforward with isolation and then the international break. And the international boys 7 boys going away on international duty. That's been disruptive, but not complaining, just stating the obvious, which has obviously happened not just to us, to majority and nearly every club in the Premier League. So I can't tell you how we're going to rock up really. It's but we feel as much as possible we could have done into the players. We've got a really important 3 days now in preparation. We've got to get that right and hopefully hit the ground running, because the start is so important. We got off to a fabulous start last year, 4 points out of our first 2 games, and obviously that gave us a foothold in the division really early on. And it's important that we make, or try to make, the same start.
How difficult will it be this second time round? Because you set that bar pretty high in your first season back in the Premier League.
Yeah, well, I mean, expectations will be high. I just imagine people observing and looking at what we did last year. Will be impressed in terms of and how we attacked the division and obviously the league position, which was fabulous for a newly promoted side. But that counts for nothing. You get all sorts of stats and people talking about second season syndrome, about being found out, and and then you have the other stats about it's not as much as possibly what people are thinking in terms of teams having a struggle in the second season. All those things are irrelevant from my point of view. We have to start the season, in the same manner as we did, with the same attitude, the same desire. The group is better. The group is better for the experience of a first year in the Premier League, in my opinion. The group is stronger than what we started out at Bournemouth last year, in my opinion. But these are only opinions. We've got to go and walk the walk, and we're up for it, and we're really looking forward to it. As I said, it's a fabulous division to be involved in. Brilliant experience last year, and I certainly, and listening to the players this year in the enthusiasm. Now they've come back off the break, and the work that they've done at the football club and just being around them. There's a huge amount of enthusiasm going into our second season. We want to establish ourselves as a Premier League club. We know we've got enormous challenges ahead of us. Nothing's going to be taken for granted. Nothing's given because you've had a decent season last year. We've got to go out again and do the business, and we're all up for that.
Just finally from me, Chris, back in the summer, football led the way, and it's largely unified protest in the Black Lives Matter movement. I wonder, how important is it that football continues to lead the way coming into the new season, and it doesn't just get left behind?
Yeah. Everybody doesn't want it to peter out because it's so important, and it was important in the summer, and it's going to be continually at the top of the agenda of things that everybody is concerned about. So, of course, everybody needs to focus on a lot of aspects of life in terms of what's happening at the moment in general, and certainly, the message that everybody got out from our business, our industry, and how we handled it, I thought was excellent, and we need to keep that. We need to keep that message out there, because certainly things that have happened is from obviously a long period, and which was highlighted in the summer is definitely unacceptable. And I'm sure everybody in the game will be united to keep the message out there.
Thanks, Chris.
Cheers, Rich. Thanks.
Hi, Chris. Morning. It's Andy from Radio Sheffield here.
Morning, Andy.
Morning. Just so on the new recruits then. So Ampadu, he's a player that can play in numerous different roles within the team. How do you see him fitting in?
Play numerous roles in the team. He gives huge competition in a lot of positions, and we've put together a group of players that can play various systems. If we have to, can play in various positions. We're covered. Competition for places is huge. Ethan can play in, he's played as a sitting midfield player. He's played, he can play right of a three, can play in the middle of a three, can play in a two. So that part of it is really important, not just for Ethan. We've got other players that can do that. Ben Osborne can do that. I would say, apart from the top of the pitch, where that's a little bit more specialised in terms of getting the combinations right, a link and a stretch, a target that we've got. We look at all aspects of the team. Different combinations at the top of the pitch to suit different games is important for us. Attacking options off the bench. And competition for places all over the pitch. Ethan can play, as I said, right centre half, and all those positions. And the attitude of the boy is one that we ask him to do a job for the team. It'll do it, but he wants to establish himself in the team. So which they all want to do, and it becomes, even though we have a great togetherness about us. It does become at the start basically an individual sport to get into that team, and they're all pushing. There's been a certain lift in everybody's standards, and that's not been critical before with the players, but you can see a lift when Max came into the group, Jaden came into the group, Ethan came into the group, the international boys came back, Ollie coming back into the group. Coming into the group, and that's what I'm after. And Ethan will be part of that group, and hopefully, he'll, from his point of view, he'll want to establish himself in the team. Whereas where that is, that's for us to decide.
Ollie Burke. With him, is he another player that will be, perhaps, as you've signed before, maybe a guy that has just got that extra added ambition because he's looking to get things back on track? He was the young star, if you like, at Nottingham Forest that got a massive move, but now he's looking to kickstart things again. That's
not his fault. That's not his fault. I think that's a compliment to what he's done. And then he had he went to Leipzig, who are, an outstanding European team. The manager there knows his stuff at the time. The players that he signed. And the success that he had, £15 million, whatever country it is a big chunk of change. And for him to come back for £50 million is yet again not his fault. Quick change of manager at West Brom. I think he's had some bad press at West Brom, But that's my opinion, and everybody's entitled to their opinions. I think it's a great deal for our football club in terms of, and that's not being disrespectful to Callum, because Callum did well for us in the first part of the season. But I was looking for something different. I have that ability to look and change things around. I am one of making quick decisions if I think that things needed to be changed, and we did with Callum. And as far as Callum's concerned, wish him all the best. He's a fabulous boy, and we thought this was a good deal. There was always going to be some trading going off in the summer, and for us to receive a fee and take Ollie, from our point of view, I think that's a good bit of business. And West Brom will think that's a good bit of business for them. They're getting a player that Slaven wants, and I'm getting a player that Chris Wilder wants, and he fits what we're after. There's not many players that have got the raw pace that Ollie's got, and it was important that we added that to our group this pre-season. We've certainly done that. Now the key is from our point of view, from myself and the staff and the boy, to maximise what he's got in his locker, and we'll certainly do that. And as I said, it's a fresh start for Ollie, and hopefully he'll be a success. I think all round it's good business for everybody involved.
When that striker arrives that you're chasing after, would that be you content then and done in this particular window?
Yeah, that adds us up to a 25-man squad, 3 goalkeepers in that, and then when I look back, I would regard this as one of our best, if not the best window that we've had since I've been at the football club. To sign, as I said, an outstanding young English goalkeeper. I listened to an interview from Gareth last week, and he talked about Nick Pope, and he talked about Dean, and he talked about Jordan Pickford, and then he talked about Aaron Ramsdale, and he said how important it was for for Aaron to be included in that group, and important for him to get games under his belt for the 21. So that's just not our opinion; it's the manager of England's opinion as well. So highly thought of. I think from the number that we paid for Aaron at this period, it's good timing for us, and it's yet again, thankful of the support I have from the board. But I think that's a good bit of business. The two boys that we've got in from Derby, I think, age, ability. I know I had a chat with Frank Lampard, and he had them under his wing at Derby, and how impressed he was with both of those boys. Ethan, one that we've been tracking for a couple of years. We tried to get him in last year, but the Leipzig deal was already down the line. And from Ollie, a swap with Callum, and got raw pace into the team. So, yeah, getting the other one in is important, and we'll still crack on with that one. But when the window shuts, as I've always said, I'm sure the group is now and will be a lot stronger than it first started going back to that first game at Bournemouth, which is all I can ask. Now, obviously, off the back of that, they've got to produce performances individually and as a group to match what that group achieved last year, starting off at Bournemouth, and I'm confident they can do that.
You mentioned that there'd been this lift when the international lads came back, and there was a bit of a raise. Are you looking forward to getting back into the swing of things again, even though it's been a much shorter turnaround?
Yeah, I love working for this football club. You know that, and I love working with this group of players and staff. It's a fabulous group of staff. Great to get back into the staff room and see everybody and working together, and then working with the players. They're a great group. They've done fabulous, done fantastically well last year, and we're all hungry for more. As I said, we're not comfortable. We will be comfortable. It is a ruthless league. It's never a time to pat yourself on the back. We have to go again. And we're all looking forward to the challenges. The expectation levels have obviously risen. I understand that. I think, but people have to look at the division as well, and know how tough it is. 3 really quality sides have been promoted. Some incredible money's being spent at the top end of the division, and everybody's going to be stronger. And we're stronger just as much as everybody else looks as if they are. And it's going to be ultra competitive, and we're looking forward to the challenge. And excited about what's ahead of us. Of course, you look back and you sort of reflect, and you look at the scenes at Bournemouth when Sharpie scores his last minute winner, equaliser, and Lunny scores in our first home win, and the scenes at Chelsea when we get a last minute equaliser. And you see that you're doing it with the supporters there by your side, and the full backing that they have given us, and certainly will give us when they're allowed back into ground. So that's obviously the downside of it. But we've got to crack on. We've got to do as much as we possibly can in this period until they come back. But it can't come quick enough for me. It's a huge part of the game that is missing. But as soon as they get back, it'd be a fabulous occasion and time for everybody. And in the meantime, we have to crack on and do what we can to make sure that they come back to a team that's in a good position and going well again.
Great. Thanks very much.
Cheers, Andy.
Hi, Chris.
Hey, mate, you okay?
Yeah, you.
Good, thanks.
I just wanted to know what you see as progress this season. You spoke there about expectations have risen, fabulous season last year. But in your own mind, how do you measure success this season?
I think the long-term success or the long-term ambition is to cement ourselves as a Premier League club, keep improving every aspect of the football club, from academy, through training facilities, through the group, making the group better, off the pitch in the work that we do on the training pitch, on the pitch. Nothing's guaranteed on the pitch. We understand that. For us to replicate and achieve what we did last year is going to take some doing. Will it be a failure if we stay in the division again? I'm not sure about that, but we've all got to aim to reach the heights that we reached last year, and that's got to be the target for everybody. And as always, the reflection will always take place at the end of the season. But we feel we're in good nick. We feel the experience of a year under our belts, not just from the players' point of view, from the staff, will hold us in good stead. The players that we've obviously brought in this summer have improved the group. Now we've got to go and produce what we've produced last year, and reflect at the end of the season. But as far as I'm concerned, we're in a good place at the moment, and I'd like that to continue.
You've repeatedly said that you're not a manager that ever wants to stand still. How do you then improve on the pitch on what you did last year? What are the areas that you'd be looking to get better at, as it were?
Well, I think there's always a subjective and objective look at it. You look. Can we take more chances that we've created? I think we're sort of the fifth or sixth in the division in terms of creating big chances. So we feel we need to improve our goal tally. Our defensive record was outstanding. So. If we can replicate or be in and around that would be great. There's different ways that we need to play and be better at, which I won't give away to you, the work that we've done in the summer. But there's all different aspects, set plays. Can we score more goals from set plays? Can we be better at restarts? Can we be better at counter attack? First pass out. There's all sorts of stuff that we've looked at that we feel is relevant for us to improve as a group, and the players as well individually. Can they improve their skills? More work on the training pitch, more video analysis individually in units, and teams will do different things this year to try and combat what they saw last year, as much as we're doing on other teams. So, and I don't think it's one where teams get sussed out, because, as I've always said, there's so much video analysis that goes into it. I think you'd be unbelievably shocked if you walked into the majority of Premier League clubs and realise how much video analysis goes on opposition players and how teams play, and we've got to keep up with that as well. So, which we're trying to. So. But as always, you need a bounce of a ball, and you need your key players to stay fit and healthy, which is going to be a challenge as well. But certainly, we've analysed, and things that I think we need to improve on through my eyes and the coaching staff's eyes, and things that we need to improve on from a stats point of view, and things that we need to just make sure that we replicate in what was a great first year in the Premier League.
Obviously, you say you want fans back, and I totally get where you're coming from. With that in mind, then, when you're playing home games, does it feel like you've got any kind of advantage at all?
Yeah, it does feel that way. We sort of got used to it after sort of 3 or 4 games. We got the first 3 or 4 games out of the way. There was a good feel to it. We had a fabulous run. I don't go along that. We fell off the side of the cliff. The finish was always going to be tough. It was always going to be tougher for us without having the supporters in the ground, a fanatical group that backed us all the way. Possibly, I think when you look for the backing that teams get, I thought that it hurt us just as much as it hurt anybody, really. But to turn Chelsea over, to turn Spurs over, to turn Wolves over, to go away to Burnley and get a result, there's some disappointing afternoons, evenings in that last set of games that we played. But it was overall it was a great effort by everybody. But certainly it did feel better, going into those games, the games that I've mentioned at home, and it's important that we keep that going. We had a great record away from home, only getting beat at Liverpool and Man City before lockdown. So that's something that we've got to look at to see if we can, small percentages and gain some wins on that. But as I said, it's obviously nothing really. It's not a lot more that you can do, Paul. Really, to prepare the boys for the games without supporters, and it's a mindset that we have to get right. The group is a tough group mentally. We try to create tough players with our attitude towards them, and I think that works for us. So other bits and pieces that we're trying to do, small bits, we'll try to do, but I don't think there's much more we can do.
Final one from me, Chris. How much admiration do you have for Wolves? Because even for them, it's a relatively short time that they've had in the Premier League. But when you look at what they've managed to achieve on the pitch, are they almost a model that you would like to follow?
Yeah, I've always said, and I said before our game last year, towards the end of the season, I thought that they were a Premier League club in the Championship, and then when they went into their Premier League club, they were a top half Premier League club going into their first season. And without trying to be clever, that was the case. Obviously, they've had huge backing in the Championship to set them up for their first season, so they're possibly ahead of us in quite a lot of stuff off the pitch. But on the pitch, it's been really competitive. It was 2 competitive games last year. I love the way they play. I love the attitude of the players. I love the attitude of the manager. A lot of respect, as I said. It doesn't seem too long ago that we were playing, and I was saying the same thing. So, it's not been a lot of time to really change my attitude and an outlook on Nuno and his team. Apart from to say that I'm sure they'll go well again. And looking at the signings that they've made, I think they just signed a 17-year-old boy for about 35 million. So, they're ambitious in the transfer market, and he brings players in to fit the system and fit how he wants to play. And as I said, got a lot of admiration for that.
Brilliant, mate. Good to see you. Good luck.
Cheers, Paul, and you, mate. Take care.
Everybody, thank you.
Hi, Chris.
Hey, Ian, you all right?
Have you had a good summer?
Yeah, not bad, mate. Not bad. You?
Oh, it's been okay. Missing the football. Glad you're back. Can I ask you why you think no one has worked out yet what you do and what your players do? Because you pretty much did it in League One. You've done it in Championship. You did it last year. And yet it still seems that nobody knows how to combat the way you play.
Well, everybody's got to try and combat the way everybody plays. So, I'm sure people have worked us out as much as we know what other teams and how other teams are gonna play. But it comes down to playing well on the day and doing what you're good at, and is that better than what the opposition are good at in a lot of aspects, from a physical point of view, from a technical point of view, the players being really good players, and the tactical point of view, there has to be a variety in our game just as much as there's a variety in what Wolves are going to produce on Monday night. So I think you've been very complimentary to us in terms of teams not sussing us out. I don't believe that's right. I think that they will know a lot about us as much as we do about them, but that's always the game, isn't it? A 4-3-3 against a 3-5-2. All different formations, all different players, and I think that's the beauty of the game, and especially in the Premier League. There's different types of teams, and I think that adds. I think we've added to the Premier League in our own way last year, and it's important that we do the same this year. And in the way we approach the game and the attitude to the game and the way we play our football. And just trying from our point of view, just getting the maximum amount of players yet again. And if we do that, I think, we can we can hopefully have a decent season. But there's still a lot of, we're talking about it going into the first game. It's as I said, it's a tough league. It's arguably the best division in the world that we're going into, and we have to be at it, every day of the week, and especially on match days to get anything out of any game. So, from the tactical point of view, obviously it's a big part of it, but I would say more attitude point of view, where games are won and lost, and hopefully our attitude will give us an opportunity of getting results.
Everyone's spoken about the fans, and we all know that the football needs it back. But the head of the Premier League yesterday saying that clubs are going to lose enormous amounts of money, almost can't go through another season without supporters. To that end, Doncaster Racecourse, we're going to have a trial over this weekend about fans coming back, but that's now been scrapped. We were hopefully going to see fans at your game away to Arsenal beginning of October. Do you think, in light of what the Prime Minister said yesterday, we're further away now from getting anybody back inside the ground, let alone half capacity or even bigger than that before the end of the season?
Yeah, I mean, I don't want to go down the political route or whatever, but obviously everybody will have their own opinion on the certain situation and whatever. But yeah, it does seem to be, I don't know, from my opinion, mixed messages that we're all getting on every front. So. Of course, I know the Premier League, how hard they're working to get supporters back in. So, everything the Premier League does will get the full backing of us at Sheffield United, because I know, and I know how they know how important it is to get the punters back into the grounds from a financial point of view, and from their point of view, and the general feel of the game, and how much everybody's been missed over the period where they've not been allowed into the grounds. But there's a lot of speculation going around, and it does feel for the average man in the street, which I certainly am, not an expert on it, but it does seem confusing at times what you can do and what you can't do, and what numbers get punted at you, and what numbers that maybe are kept a little bit away from the media.
Again, sticking on that kind of theme, the Premier League, I think, said that this season their aim is not to stop the season or to stop games going ahead if players are isolating. Teams will just have to deal with that. In a sense, then, if a player has to isolate, or two or three, do you have to, as a manager, almost treat that like another injury, like someone's got a groin injury for a couple of weeks? Yeah, definitely. That's going to be the case. So you're going to have to react definitely, which we've had to do this pre-season, Ian. That's it seems to be. I'm a planner. Pre-season was possibly finalised around December time for us, going into the season. Obviously, knowing that we were pretty close to securing our Premier League status, or had a great opportunity of getting to 40 points, which obviously we did with about 9 or 10 games to go. So all our pre-season was planned, and I'm a planner in terms of what we need, what we need from the club to go forward, from the facilities point of view, from pre-season, from a recruitment point of view, staffing point of view. So yeah, it has been obviously the strangest one that I've had to deal with, being a manager for close on sort of 20 years. But that's how it has panned out, and we all have to think on our feet and react. So if like it happened in pre-season, all of a sudden 4 or 5 boys that we thought would be going up the road to Edinburgh with us as part of our pre-season plans were self-isolating back in Sheffield. So we had to react to that, and we're going to have to do that going forward, Ian. Off the back of that, we saw with the England party, I'm not asking you to comment on the players involved, we saw with the England party how important it is that the players absolutely follow every single rule. Now, you are a normal man, you are a man that follows rules. How do you make sure the players absolutely follow every single rule? Well, you can't sit on the shoulder. So, we've got a responsible group of players, and I think, that they understand that if they don't follow protocol and rules,
and are not responsible, then they let everybody down. And I think it just goes to show that, we're gonna have to trust the players and trust staff as well. But as I said, mixed messages are coming out, not from the Premier League, but just from what you can do, what you can't do, because they've still got to live a normal life as well. But knowing that they have responsibilities as well to keep themselves fit and adhere to the rules and regulations and the protocol that the Premier League have set out, which, to be fair, I think that our group and the majority of Premier League players have done exceptionally well. But we'll have to keep banging on about it, continuous messages from the medical staff about, personal hygiene and what's acceptable and what's not acceptable. So they understand that. And I should imagine from their point of view as well, players don't want to miss football matches. They want to be available for every game, regardless if it's in front of, 50,000 at the Emirates or, Newcastle or Man United or Anfield or 30,000 at Bramall Lane or nobody at all. They want to play football. So, it's up to them to be very, very responsible. And at the moment they are, and hopefully they'll carry on in that way.
Final one is encompassing three subjects, which I know you absolutely love. Drinks break, gone. 5 stars. I knew you'd like that.
Unless it's over 30 degrees, which I'm not so sure now that'll ever be the case in Sheffield, but it might be when we play down in London in a certain period. But I'm sure that we're not going to hit that temperature. So it certainly wasn't that temperature when we played Burnley away, when I was having a Bovril instead of a glass of water.
5 subs down to 3.
Right step, majority vote in the Premier League. Always got to be the right step for the Premier League and the right decision made.
And your favourite topic when you are allowed to go with your 5 friends down to the pub, socially distancing, VAR. The referees, I think, are going to be encouraged to look at the monitors this year. Offside will be on, or handball will be on a shirt sleeve. I mean, there's numerous new interpretations coming out. Let's face it, you weren't done any favours last year by VAR, were you?
Nothing's really going to change. Hopefully they might get a couple of more decisions right and a couple of more decisions might be made a little bit quicker. But I think everybody talks about it, it's the first year, so we have to understand that there might have been a few mistakes made. So hopefully we can learn and move it on. But I'm sure that, as it always has been down the pub with your 5 mates and yourself, they're still going to talk about refereeing decisions as they have done for the past 20, 25, 30, 35 years. So I don't think anything will change on that, Ian.
We'll meet up for that pint soon. Cheers, mate.
Yeah, take care, mate. Cheers, pal.
Rob Staten.
Hey, Rob.
Hi, Chris. There was a fair bit of talk this week that England perhaps need a left-footed defender. Jack O'Connell could provide an option there, and is that something that he should aim for maybe this season? Yeah,
100%. I mean, I think the great thing about what's happened through the last sort of 2 or 3 years is that our players have been getting international recognition, and to go from what. I'm not so sure when I first walked through the door, if we did have any, we might have had some at youth level. Dominic Calvert-Lewin might have been involved under 18s or under 20s, I think, at the time. But now we've got 7 or 8 players away with their national teams, which we applaud and support. And they all should be. They're playing in the Premier League. They're up against Premier League players. So whether it's Jack, whether it's John Lundstrom, whether it's George playing for Greece, I think that might be one that might be on the horizon. They all should be aiming to play as well as they possibly can to attract the attention of the national managers and whatever position there is. Aaron Ramsdale, as I've talked about with Gareth. And I'm sure, the manager, doesn't just favour, the big teams. He's looking at every player in the Premier League. And if he feels they could add something to to his group, I'm sure they'll make that decision. So yeah, play well and see what happens after that.
Cheers, Chris. All the best on Monday.
Cheers, Rob.
There's no other broadcasters on, so we'll do a little.
Can I just ask one question? Sorry. Can I just ask one? Hi, Chris. It's Rob Phillips of BBC Wales.
Hi, Rob.
You've got very close connections with the FAW Trust, and at the moment, people like Ethan Ampadu, David Brooks, who you know of well, Nico Williams are coming through. That's not just an accident, is it, from what you know?
No, I've got obviously, I did my A licence and my pro licence from the Welsh FA, and it was a brilliant experience. So obviously, first hand of obviously the courses that they put on, and the work that Osh and Roberts at the time, and Dave is doing now, and everybody working for the Welsh FA, understanding, the work that they put into the younger players, and how they want to play in a clear philosophy. And obviously, the manager with his experience and what he achieved as a player and what he's going to achieve as a manager. I think there's a huge enthusiasm for the players to go and represent the country. And you look at the group of players that they've got, and what Chris achieved, Chris Coleman, and what Ryan will no doubt achieve. Very competitive, technically, good players, and tactically, very, very clever in the way they play. And Ethan's one of those young players that you've mentioned that I'm sure will gain and grow, gain more caps, and will grow with more Premier League experience under his belt this year at Sheffield United.
Thank you. Wish you all the best for the season. Thank you.
Cheers, Rob.